Check, 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 check. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Gonna do a couple of mic checks over here.
Yeah, check. 1 2. We good? Yeah, we good. Yo, 1 2 1 2.
FAROUQ. Okay, do it again.
1 2 1 2.
Alright, actually. And check. Mark, if you want this mic too, you're more than welcome. There's a stool over there.
Oh, word, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I thought we were gonna have to do some like swapping.
I wouldn't mind realizing that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I figured you would use that one. That's what I was tripping about. We're all good though.
Alright, we live. Oh, I'm not even on the microphone. We live right now. Proetiq Radio episode 125. We got A1 in the building, Pond in the building, FAROUQ in the building, and MARC in the building. What is going on, brothers?
What's good, man? Thanks for having us again.
Of course,
happy to be here.
Yes, y'all. It's a pleasure. Every single one of y'all is producers or singer-songwriters or heavily influenced by music and stuff. We got to know A1 a little bit, got to know Pond, we got to know FAROUQ. Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself. Sorry to put you on the spot, man.
Come on, Mark.
Where to start? So I've been playing music since I was as little as I can remember. Did piano lessons for a long time. Did a little bit of guitar and bass playing as well. Very briefly played some drums. Music's just been a big part of my life for a long time. Didn't always know that's what I wanted to do though. Was also a big visual artist as well. So did a lot of drawing. The end goal is working in the music career in any capacity, regards to what that is.
Hell yeah.
Like visual arts, like graphic design and...
yeah, so the original plan when I was in high school was to do tattooing.
Oh,
and
damn,
then
okay, sure.
right after high school ended, just kind of hit a big wall. Didn't really do too much art anymore after that, so I was like, what do I do now?
True.
And then fell back to the second creative medium that's always been in my life, and I love it. It's great.
Hell yeah.
Crazy.
It's awesome to be able to do all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
And you go to Metalworks as well too?
Yeah.
Assuming? Awesome.
Yeah.
Do all you guys take the same program, or is it in
Relatively.
Okay.
So it's there's hybrid programs, and then there's a 2-year audio specialist, but relatively we're all doing the same thing.
True. So who's taking the audio specialist? FAROUQ?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
And what's the name of your program?
Just APE, Audio Production Engineering.
Audio.
So
Okay. True.
it's the same thing. His is a 2-year course.
Yeah.
So ours is mine's shorter.
Just more mixing and mastering. So you really just fine tuning it.
Yeah. And I can still you're taking the same course as me, yeah. So we can still go back next year if we want to.
Okay.
But he's got the whole package.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And you doing the same program as well too, or?
Yeah, I'm in AP as well.
AP as well too. That's fire. That's
yeah.
sick. Yeah. That's sick. So when it comes to production and stuff, we were talking about A1 and FAROUQ and stuff. You guys use Logic and stuff, right? And same with Pond and stuff. You guys use Logic mostly and stuff. What about yourself?
So I use Logic mostly. I started with GarageBand.
Okay.
Need to work on Pro Tools more, because that's what we're learning about a lot. That's the industry standard.
Yeah, that's what you guys are saying.
A bunch of people are making the switch now. I was in the studio all day yesterday, and some kids came in and they were all fully. They had their preset set on Pro Tools. I was like,
crazy.
Oh, you're moving fast. You're moving too fast. I'm still.
Damn.
Yeah. So you got to get ahead of the game. I mean, we got to start switching over. But I think we're just comfortable with what we got already.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But also, if you look at it, Ableton is also another big one, especially if you're doing podcasts or live stuff.
True.
You would have to learn that, and we're still gonna learn that later on in the year.
People still use Logic and FL, Fruity Loops, whatever. They still use that in the industry too, but it's just the standard. You gotta know
when you're in the studio. That's typically
exactly.
Yeah, I would say you have to know Ableton though, because if you're using any Novation device like a MIDI, a drum pad type of thing that you see DJs use, they're always using Ableton, especially DJs. So if you're trying to branch off into a different thing, you would use Ableton. So it doesn't really matter which DAW.
No, it does. You're right. It totally doesn't matter. But definitely Pro Tools is the the DAW. You know, you ask anybody who's doing this, and they're saying Pro Tools.
That's crazy. Yeah. And when you say like presets, like what do you exactly mean by that? You mean like samples, loops, drums, or it could be
all of that, and like vocal presets. So they have like their chain already like kind of like with all their effects on there, so they don't have to like go in and do a bunch of stuff. So whenever they load up a project, they already have all their like their mix basically done for them already.
Okay, I feel
right. That. So it's way quicker, and it helps you be more comfortable with it instead of having to go in every time and do the whole list of EQs and all that.
But some people have a process where they love it just to have the raw vocals with the song and everything, and then mix and master after.
Depends if you sing too.
Yeah.
If you got a nice singing voice.
Yeah. So it all depends on like the situation.
Varies person to person.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
That's crazy. What kind of effects do you guys like to put for like presets and stuff like that personally? Like,
I got a whole chain. Like I got a whole like 8-10. It's a lot of like EQs, compressors.
True.
Obviously I need a little bit of pitch correction, but I'd be using just compression, EQ, a little bit of reverb.
I feel like it's shuffling a deck of cards because no matter what way you put, because like you could put like an EQ over a compressor, and then it's gonna sound completely different if you put the compressor first. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a chain, right?
So it's really you gotta find what works with you. So that's why you could have a preset, but say I'm like recording for Usher, then I gotta tweak a couple little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's totally just to fit your voice, right? So it's totally different. Like I've had people come in and try and make songs on like my setup, and their voice does not sound good because they have different tones in their voice, and I have it set specifically for me.
100%.
Yeah.
Even like with the pitch correction thing that you're saying, like I know like on Reaper and stuff, like there's like the pitch correction, and there's a manual one, and there's like an automatic one that just like does it. I don't even know what it does. I just like
it's just like auto tune basically. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So there's Melodyne and like Flex Pitch, which is like you manually go in and like drag the notes to what you want and like change the vibrato so that it's more robotic or not.
Yeah.
But pitch correction is just auto tune basically.
So vibrato is like another word for like reverb or verbate.
Roughly. Yeah.
Okay.
The music industry has their own whole language.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking about like stuff being wet and dry, or if it's like sparky enough, or if it's blue enough.
Or if it's peppered.
Yeah, if it's peppered.
Yeah. We were just talking about that with Patrick.
No. That's crazy. So I seen on like FX and stuff, it's either wet or dry. Do you know like what does that mean? Can you explain that? Like I don't really know what it means.
Yeah, go ahead.
So people have like wet and dry is a really good example. Also, people would use color as an example because if you hear a song and you say, "Oh, I kind of want it to be more bluey," like a lot of people say that, then people will kind of take that into account, like more sad or more somber, of an empathetic song. So like for wet and dry, it's more specific because like a lot of like VSTs and stuff will have like a setting for that, and dry means more kind of just like crispy bass line. Wet's kind of more like flowy melody type of style.
So that would be dry.
Dry would be like kind of like what you would think it is.
Crispy
like, the crispy kind of
so
like a dry piece of bread.
Thundercat, like them changes. That would be like a dry because it's like more like crisp, and like someone like Lil Peep or like Tame Impala would be more bluey.
So like the biggest example for wet and dry is mostly in like a reverb plugin or VST. It's like it'll have all your settings and you can have like what kind of room you want it to sound like because reverb's like
I seen that
like big hall. You could have like big hall setting or like small room setting. So if you change that and then you're wet and dry, if I have the wet like all the way up, it'll sound like mushed in like just this whole like circle of like sound. But if it like the wet's down, the dries up, it'll be almost like nothing, right? So you kind of mess with that a bit, but that's a good example.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's crazy. Yeah, I love fucking around with FX and stuff like that. And it's cool that you have a chain of things that you already know that work for you and stuff.
And it's not always like good to have a chain, right? Because every song differs and your voice will change and like you want a different vibe for a different song. But just like having a bass layer, because I always am like changing it, but like having a bass layer so it's not completely dry when I start, and then I'm able to build off of that depending on the direction that I want the song to go in. So yeah, it totally differs because, and they like our teachers, they recommend not having like presets and plugins because it's all different. Yeah. And it also helps you learn more if you're venturing out, starting from scratch. But it's nice when you're just at home. having a preset.
So for each one of you guys, when you're like making a beat or producing something, like what do you start with? Is it more like bass, snare, samples? Like what do you look for like when you first start, or do you have an idea in your head and it's like a vocal already and you're just like trying to play around the vocal?
For me, I would say it changes based off what I go into thinking when I'm gonna write something. So if I think I want to write something more on like the hip hop side of things, I might start with trying to find like a good drum beat, get some good sounds there, or maybe even a bass line. Make sure I have like a good 808 that I like the sound of, and I'll key something in like that, and then I'll build around that. But if I'm doing something like, for example, if I'm making like a lo-fi song, like the kind of stuff you look up on YouTube when you're studying, I would go probably straight to the piano first and try to come up with a melody for that, and then work from that side of things. And then I know Alex, sometimes he just has like vocals ready to go. He's like humming something, and he's like, this needs to get recorded.
That's what I, like last night or 2 nights ago, he played this, like, it was kind of like poppy, like what do we compare it to?
We said it was
the Justin Timberlake. Who was he part of?
NSYNC.
Yeah, NSYNC. It was kind of like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Dua Lipa. So he made, and I really like the vibe of it, and immediately you can just like hear it, right? So it all depends. I mean, sometimes I'll have like a vocal melody that I already know, and then I'll make try and make a beat around that. That's what I was doing the other day.
It definitely also changes based off what your comfort zone is as well, as 100%. Like an artist, producer, whatever it might be. Like Alex's process would be different from mine. I'm not a vocalist, he's a vocalist, so the way we would think about getting into that in the first place would probably start from completely different directions.
And we totally do. Like, I always start with pads, melodies, synths, stuff like that, whereas you sort of start on like the meat and potatoes of like the drums and like the lead, whereas I'm more like pad, and I get like the sort of ambient, you know, side of things, and then I come in, the drums for me are like dead last. Like, I do the drums always last.
I don't know how you do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll
it changes.
Like distracted halfway through and be like, this needs to like.
Maybe I'll put in like a hat or something just to like keep the tempo up. But other than that, like, I don't. I've never really. I'm new into the whole producing beat making scene, so it's been fun for sure. But
I find it even harder without like. With like all the MIDI stuff that we're using too. Like it's harder to like lay something down and then find something to put right on top of it.
So sometimes you just get lost like looking for the right sound, and then it's an hour later, and then you're like, I've looked through like 200 different sounds that I have. I've messed with like 50 of them, and I still can't find what I want.
And then you're like, screw it, I'm gonna use a loop.
Exactly. Just throw in a loop or something.
Take a little break real quick, thing, and then just like, get back to it, and you're like, I'll refresh.
Arranging is a really nice way to like really, if you're like getting frustrated like creatively, if you're trying to like lay down melodies and nothing's working, loops, arranging stuff with like loops and samples is always so dope. Because
what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by so, just like kind of organizing it, like literally kind of thing?
So Logic has a bunch of stock loops, which is kind of how I started, and I know Mark does it quite a bit too, and it's kind of, they have preset loops, so it's just like guitar melodies, drums, like anything, like they just have loops of already like sounds, right? And you just kind of think, okay, that'll sound good with this, and you like arrange them in a way that makes it, and you kind of like create a whole like song out of it, out of these like 1 bar, 2 bar loops. So that way you're not like physically creating the melody, but you're seeing the vision and like making it something totally different. So it's
a lot of famous songs use those. Like,
100%.
So like, can you repeat it? So it's
I know what you're talking about.
It's a couple of, it's like a song, you take a loop or something, and then you just like, you have an idea of like what goes first, what goes second, what goes third.
100%.
So you just kind of like stem by stem arranging it sort of thing.
The way I see it is like it puts down a melody. Like, at least for me, because I make a lot of R&B type songs, I'll usually find like a piano melody or like a guitar melody, and then I'd base everything off of that. And then sometimes even at the end you could just take it out, and then it would be like a whole beat that you kind of just based off of a melody.
It's like pre-written, like Praise the Lord by A$AP Rocky. That little flute, that that was a loop from Apple. Like that was like
GarageBand.
GarageBand loop. Like they just took
it really?
and then built a beat around it.
Oh shit!
So
that's crazy.
It's kind of like that, right? You hear a loop like that, and it kind of like sparks inspiration.
Even Bryson Tiller has a couple loops from FL Studio. So like when you're going through the beat or like the loops that you have in whatever DAW, you'll hear a couple be like, that sounds familiar because they're using a lot.
Yeah. That's crazy.
100%.
Like even in our production class, like for movies and stuff like that, they're telling us they do the same thing with like
all the sound effects
and even like actual like landscape, like kind of zooming in, they'll reuse it and it's kind of like a loop, kind of like the same way.
Yeah.
If you want to reference
like
it
for
like
visuals.
For visuals, yeah.
They do it with sound too, like sound effects. They'll have like that person screaming.
Yeah.
Like
or the cat.
And that's what's expensive. We were looking at it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
because
crazy.
These loop packs themselves are kind of just like either extra clippets or like high quality kind of kind of like a thing that you could use, so they just resell it because they want to make money, but also because they're very good. Yeah.
So if you have all of it, why not?
Yeah. Like if it comes with the kind of thing, like the presets, the VSTs kind of thing.
So for the DAWs, but like say if it was like for sound effects and stuff like that, you'd have to buy them. So that's where it gets pricey.
Some sound effects actually.
It does, but they're not the best.
It depends what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Yeah, 100%.
So for like somebody who I think I asked this last time, like if you just got your DAW, right, and it's like FL or Pro Tools or whatever, it obviously comes with a certain amount of VSTs already, right? Like a limited amount, maybe. Like actually,
it's
like
pretty vast.
It's like because I remember like on even MPC Beats, the one that comes with the Kai, like it comes with like keyboard, bass, synth, like all these different things, and every single one of them has like 20 different categories, and within those categories there's like different types of like bass lines and stuff like that. But when you're kind of like bored of those ones, where's the best place to go and get some original like BSTs and stuff? Like what is the site or like torrents? Like where would you suggest is like the best place to go get VSTs, other than obviously making it on your own with like guitars and stuff like that or keyboards?
I would say Reason, but like in a different way, because
I know what you mean by that.
Like it doesn't really matter what synth or like what like kind of piano thing you have. It's kind of just making or creating a new sound.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah. So and then Reason, you could kind of layer different synths, different sounds, everything kind of together to create something completely new.
You could create any sound you could possibly think of. You throw like a subtractor on there, and you could like. That's just an example. You can make any sound you want. If you have a specific sound in mind and you know how to work those synths and work that DAW, like you can make any sound
from a synthesizer. That's what a subtractor is. It's a type of It's a type of synth.
It's a type of synth?
Okay. Yeah. There's hundreds of different types of synths.
There are millions.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah. So you just kind of have to pick and choose. None are really better than each other. It just has a wider variety of things that you can do with each one.
Yeah. And what's nice with Reason too is I would assume that you can do it with all the DAWs. I haven't tried with Pro Tools yet because I haven't been messing around with it, but at least with Logic specifically, once you have like that preset synth sound that you want after you've made it saved, you can go find it in Logic and use it from there. So you don't have to be shoehorned into only using that synth in Reason. That way you can make whatever you want inside that application and then be able to use it in your preferred DAW that you make stuff in.
Damn. Is it pretty like user friendly for Reason and stuff like that? Like,
Reason's
one on the computer and.
Personally, I don't like Reason. It drives me nuts just because I'm like super used to Logic, and so Logic is super straightforward and easy. Versus like for example, Pro Tools is I think what they used when they were explaining to us in our one class was Logic would be like driving an automatic car, versus Pro Tools is like your manual car.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch more steps that you have to do.
That is a good analogy to use because they were literally talking about that.
Logic is an automatic, Pro Tools is like manual.
Yeah. So there's like a couple extra steps that you gotta learn, and that's how I feel about Reason as well. Just because I'm not
shout out to our
comfortable with
sponsor,
it.
Guru. Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's just Reason's good. I like it, but I also don't at the same time. Just because the interface I find itself is like a little bit clunky when you're trying to not specifically make sounds.
True.
It's growing on me.
It does have all the basic tools that you would need, the same way Logic, GarageBand, Pro Tools, Ableton, FL, all that stuff. You can make a track, write like key stuff in, all of that is there. But when I've tried to do that, it just feels very clunky. And it makes my head hurt. That's not to say it's bad.
I strongly disagree.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't think you actually make like whole songs in Reason.
No, you
you're
definitely
just
shouldn't.
using it like for the
Make the sound.
like bringing it in.
Yeah, like the actual like the snare or the beat or the synth, like specific, and then you rearrange it in like another program.
Exactly, and everything is one to one with the physical actual machine. So you could like press tab and you have to like rewire everything yourself in the back.
That's the part
which is like very different to new beginners.
You like wiring, but okay.
Yeah, no, I don't get that.
It's like. Yeah, you press tab, you turn it around, and you have to route it correctly and like drag all these wires.
Just like real life.
It's literally analog, but on a computer. Like I don't know how to explain it.
So I'd say like it would be better for people who are actually doing that type of work instead of like someone who's like new into it. Because like getting into sound designing is like a whole different category.
It's not for the faint of heart, dog.
But it's the same thing as producing music, is it not? Or it's like the same avenue?
No, it's the same
avenue.
Sound
design, engineering.
You have to know music theory.
It's so specific. It's so specific. You have to know theory. You do
things that like you're gonna hear from here to here to here to here kind of thing. Like
it's more of a physics
or more of a physics.
Yeah, like the way the sound waves.
Yeah, it's about sound waves
and what you're changing in the sound waves.
Because you're literally trying to imitate reality, right?
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. So
whereas music is just like bass lines, this, that.
Exactly, right? So, and I mean, all of it contains this physics stuff and the whole sound wave stuff, right? But it's just very simplified. Whereas this is kind of really breaking it down.
Completely different ballpark, like sound engineering.
Yeah, you're literally creating a sound. Like there's a plain sine wave with nothing on it, and then you change all this stuff.
Frequencies.
Delay, like all this stuff, and you just make a totally new sound. But you can, in the process, you're kind of learning theory and learning how sound in general works, right? Which I think is a really good skill to have.
And this also comes back to like the language I was saying. Like everyone has kind of like a music language that you use. In those, you have to like learn the whole language before you could be able to use it.
True.
Because there's words like attack, delay.
Yeah,
you might have
seen those on like Reaper is like such a like it's good because it's the only thing that I know kind of thing. But what is attack and delay? And like from what I remember, I think it's under like compressors or something like that, or reverb. I think
it's under a lot of.
It's
different
under
things.
A lot of different things.
Yeah, so it's just like a word that you use. Attack is literally what you would think it would be. So if you attack someone, it's like aggressive. Like you're being aggressive towards them.
How quick is it, basically?
Yeah,
like, just read how quick is this kicking in,
or how aggressive it is.
So if you change the attack, it'll like if you press a piano key. As soon as you press the key, that would be what the attack is.
Away,
and so if you change the attack, maybe there will be like a split second after you press the key, and then you'll reach the peak of that note.
Oh, okay.
So that's what attack would affect, and then you get into all the stuff like delay, sustain, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking. It's ADSR.
Sustain?
No, sustain. No, it's sustain. That's the S. ADSR.
And then you get.
But
there's a bunch of different things that affect it all.
Wait.
There's just scoping out the scene, right?
There would be sustain, which affects how long the note stays at that level for.
Okay.
So
how long you're
talking
sustaining
specifically for synth, it would be imitating how long you're holding that note down, and then if you let go, how long it will go before it tapers off, which is the last term that I'm blanking. I'm forgetting what it is.
Release.
Thank you.
Is that what you said?
That's literally what I said. And then you change that as well. And that'll, if I'm not mistaken, affect how fast that would go from where it's being sustained at to not being able to be heard again.
That's release?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so almost like a cutoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So attack is literally what you said about the keyboard thing.
How hard you hit it.
How fast it, as soon
how
as
hard
you,
it comes
as you
in.
Press it.
Literally, so how hard it comes in.
Okay.
So
like how aggressively it comes in. Kind of
exactly.
So like if we compare it to like a car again, it's like how fast you're pushing the gas pedal and how fast your car is going to take off based off how fast you're pushing.
Yeah, like 0 to 100.
Exactly.
Or like how fast. Okay, cool. And then what's the other one you said before release? You said sustain is like how long is the notes being held.
Yeah.
And then release is from sustain, like how long it goes to nothing, basically. And then delay. What's delay?
It's decay. I got it wrong.
Isn't
decay,
delay one of them though?
Delay is a different thing. But if we're talking specifically about these few,
for the synth,
there's attack, decay, sustain, and release, and that's the order that it typically will show up in on like your synthesizer.
Most of them.
And decay is So if we're looking at it like visually, it will go up with your attack, and then it will go down slightly and go straight across and then down again. So there's like a large peak before it tapers off and flattens out. That would be your decay, where it goes from the peak down to the sustain.
And that's where the physics is.
And that affects like how fast it goes from like that very peak to where it's going for the rest of the note. So that's just like one tiny section of like the subtractor synthesizer that we've been messing with for class, for example.
You guys learn all that like in classes and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and
I knew a little about it before, but not necessarily putting that into practice with synthesizers. Because I didn't do a lot of that.
The big thing for me was like when I'm making music at home and stuff, I know all this stuff, but I don't know what it is. Like I don't know that I know it, right? So like they'll talk about something and I'll be like, I've been doing that for months. I just don't know what it's called. I didn't know that's how it worked, but I've been using that, right? So
crazy.
It's kind of a good.
I think of it as like Photoshop, basically. For when you're working on synths and like sound designing, it's like Photoshop. So like you see the picture, and then you have to tweak every little thing to get like the perfect kind of or whatever sounds right. Because at the end of the day, it's whatever sounds right to you or like fits your mood. So yeah, definitely says like Photoshop.
Bro, that is sick. How about we'll get into a little bit of mixing and some tracks and stuff like that, and we'll get ready some of the songs that we're gonna play, maybe some freestyles and stuff like that.
Perhaps
we'll see. Talking, all right?
We could dabble.
Cheers, not cheers, but bingo bango. Be right back, y'all.
Experience the true meaning of this joyous season through the unique perspective and magical wordplay of America's most beloved rap singer. It's Christmas with Doom. Doom.
Oh no, we're doomed. This will be the worst Christmas play ever.
Before I came to Al-Anon, I was cook. I mean, I'm still a cook. I'm just a different kind of cook, I guess.
Alright, y'all, just gonna play a little bit of, we like to play movie skits and scenes from beloved shows. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show called The Chef. Oh no, it's called The Bear. Yeah, so this is a scene from that, for anybody who works in the kitchen industry, so congrats on my mans, you just got a job. So this is just a scene from there. If anybody ever watched Shameless.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so the main guy, one of the main guy, Lip, he's like the main guy in
The Bear.
The Bear, and it's like a sick show about the restaurant industry and stuff. And this is just a scene where he's talking about his brother and stuff. So it's a lot of emotions, a lot of cool stuff going on in there. So let's hear it.
I forgot. Before I came to Al-Anon, I was cook. I mean, I'm still a cook. I'm just a different kind of cook, I guess. My brother and I, we would cook a lot together, especially when we were kids. You know, that's when we were closest. Food was always our common ground. We wanted to open a restaurant together. We had a name, we had a vibe, all of it. My brother can make you feel confident in yourself. You know, like when I was a kid, if I was nervous, I was scared, I wouldn't want to do something, he'd always tell me to just face it. You know, get it over with. He would always say, stupid. He would always say, let it rip. He was loud. He was hilarious. And he had this amazing ability. He could walk into a room and he could take the temperature of it instantly. You know, he could dial it. And, I'm not built like that, and I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I had a stutter when I was a kid. I was scared to speak half the time. And I got shitty grades because I couldn't pay attention in school. I didn't get into college. I didn't have any girlfriends. I don't think I'm funny. I always thought my brother was my best friend. Like we just knew everything about each other. Except everybody thought he was their best friend. You know, he was that magnetic. And I didn't know my brother was using drugs. What does that say? As we got older, I realized I didn't know anything about him. Really. He stopped letting me into the restaurant a couple of years ago. He just cut me off cold. and that hurt, you know. And I think that flipped this switch in me where I was like, okay, fuck you, watch this. And because we had this connection through food, and he had made me feel so rejected and lame and shitty and uncool, I made this plan where I was going to go work in all the best restaurants in the world. You know, like I'm going to go work in real kitchens, like fuck mom and dad's piece of shit.
About a tournament of martial arts. A tournament to which you've already received.
And it sounds ridiculous, you know, me saying that now, but that's what I did. And I got the shit kicked out of me. And I separated herbs, and I shucked oysters and clams and uni, and I cut myself, and I got garlic and onions and peppers in my fingernails and in my eyes, and my skin was dry and oily at the same time. I had calluses on my fingers from the knives, and my stomach was fucked, and it was everything. And a couple years later, this funny thing happened, which is like, for the first time in my life, I started to find this station for myself. And I was fast. I wasn't afraid. And it was clear. And I felt okay, you know. I knew which vegetables went together, proteins, temperature, sauces, all that shit. And when somebody new came into the restaurant to stage, I'd look at them like they were a competition, like I'm gonna smoke this motherfucker. I felt like I could speak through the food, like I could communicate through creativity and that kind of confidence. You know, like I was good at something that was so new and that was so exciting, and I just wanted him to know that, and fuck, I just wanted him to be like, good job. And the more he wouldn't respond, and the more our relationship kind of strained, the deeper into this I went, and the better I got.
Yes, y'all.
And the more people I cut out, the quieter
my life.
Check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. That was a bit of a scene from The Bear. It was a bit prolonged. I think we lost some viewers on that. My bad.
Come back.
Yeah, come on back. Yo, we got some beats playing and all that stuff. We're going to get back into this. We got some new music that I got saved over here from A1.
Yes, sir. Mila Mahoney, shout out, my homie.
Mila Maloney, my homie. Fire.
That's my homie, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna play that in a little bit, real quick. So yeah, where were we and what were we talking about? We're just talking about beat making and stems and all that stuff. Let's switch it up a bit and talk about movies and shows and stuff that were influenced you. I heard Mark talking about Beyblade when he talked about Let It Rip. That's hilarious. Forgot all about that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you guys grow up watching?
Lots of different stuff.
My dad's a big like sitcom guy, so I'd like come home, he's watching like Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory. Shout out Steve.
Sick, yeah.
Sick. Like Friends and all that stuff. I was never really too into like TV shows and stuff. I was more of like a movie kid. When I was like young.
Yeah.
But then like once I got a bit older, I was more into. I started watching Shameless, stuff like that. Shameless, actually, I just recently got done with Shameless. So
I've watched that like
I love that show.
times. No, it's a great show.
I love that show. It's such a good show.
It reminds me of home.
Oh, it reminds me of home. Yeah, there's definitely some nostalgic stuff like that.
I got the Beyblade thing playing right now, Father. I was actually looking for. I have just the part where it says "Let It Rip," but I couldn't find it. So
that's okay.
I never watched Beyblade.
Well, I never really watched it either. We were just talking about like the Beyblade lore is absurd.
What sparked this conversation in the middle of The Bear?
Let It Rip.
He said "Let It Rip."
Yeah.
gonna say
like,
what
I'm sure a lot of people know like Moses parting the Red Sea.
Hell yeah.
Right? So in Beyblade lore, he does it with a Beyblade.
Parts the Red Sea.
Yeah.
With the
What?
Yeah.
That's sick.
There's gotta be some magic in those Beyblades or something. Like,
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So that's like the only thing I know about Beyblade. Besides, it was fun playing with them as a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
Those
I'd
things
mess
went
stuff
crazy.
up. That
the metal
Pokemon,
ones hurt.
Ninjago, all that stuff.
I was a Disney kid. I'm not gonna
Me
lie.
too. No, me too.
I was a
100%.
heavy Disney
Sick.
kid.
Yeah.
Victorious.
I still want to go to Disney
iCarly,
World right now. Like,
all that
shit.
stuff, bro.
But yeah, even Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon was my shit. Yeah.
Those were like the main two. But now, like, I feel like growing up older, it's just movies. Not a lot of people. If you're watching TV shows, it's only like something that's like really trending. Like I don't know, The Good Place, Avatar, or
We just watched hella Harry Potter recently.
or Harry Potter. Yeah.
We just watched hella Harry Potter recently in the apartment. That was dope.
Harry Potter's a sick one.
But same with music. I feel like movies and TV shows are where you like connect with your inner child and just kind of enjoy
100%.
it. So you just find what you kind of like or what you're used to, and that's like where your comfort
It's like listening to throwbacks, right? It's the same as watching an old like TV show. It kind of gives you like nostalgic like feelings and stuff. Like listening to songs from when you grew up. You're like, oh my god, I remember this.
Exactly. And
I remember exactly when I heard this.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's like good or bad because it's still
It's
like
still with you.
Yeah,
and
it's
you,
still
you
gonna
got
hit.
memories with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's always the dream when you're making music, is you hope that somebody else will resonate with your music like that, right?
Yeah.
And create memories with it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's always a big goal when
Yeah,
you're making
if
stuff.
you're Sicko Mode by like Travis Scott,
Dude,
you're gonna remember some memories.
I know where I was the day I heard that. I know, I remember. Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
The time period.
Well, it's different. Like
same with Eternal Take. When Uzi dropped Eternal Take right before COVID dropped, everyone was in the school cafeteria with their AirPods in. Like, it was like kids dancing in the cafeteria. That was crazy. Yeah,
everyone after my time.
After my
School
time,
at that point.
bro thinks, you got all that wisdom on
inner peace and stuff.
And all that,
and
whatnot.
Crazy.
But I think with like
background music,
a new wave with music too is like people are sampling a lot of TV shows and like even not just like the actors themselves, but like the songs and TV shows and like those kind of iconic kind of stuff to like.
There's actually a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
I watched like a YouTube video recently that was like 20 minutes long that had like 30 songs that showed like TV shows, movies, anime that sampled. And they used it in like hit songs that like people wouldn't even know.
Yeah, but if you think about it, at the same time, like a lot of like the songs that were getting really famous in like the early 2010s, I'd say. Yeah. Like Katy Perry, Maroon 5. There's like this whole kind of stock or like a free kind of stock list of like melodies and stuff that people use. They're like from a long time ago, and that's kind of how they made like pop songs. So they're like, I forget what the exact word is, but they like you don't have to charge for steal or like using their melodies and stuff. And that's what most of like the popular copyright
laws and stuff.
True.
It's like a free copyright license kind of.
And wait, what shows is that from?
It's like from like it's not from a show. It's just kind of like the soundtrack itself. Like Maroon 5, Katy Perry. They all got these like famous like really like banging melodies that like went crazy just from like older songs that
back in the day kind of thing. I think like it's like free, not free, but there's a certain year, and before that year you can like use it or whatever.
Exactly.
I feel like me and Evan are like kind of, I don't want to speak for you, we're like kind of behind in like references and stuff, because a lot of like the hip hop or like music, like pop culture references are from like kind of before, like when we were like younger, like all, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like a lot of that stuff we're at like a disadvantage with like the whole understanding of that. Because we grew up on like new stuff.
But then that's where you come in and you take the
new wave. All about the new wave generation.
You never want to do what someone else did. You want to do something.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Somebody
take inspiration from it.
Somebody told me the other day, I forget who it was. It might have been one of you guys, but they said that I played them a song and they said they've never heard anything like that before. Like the genre they did, would have no idea how they. And I was like, that's dope. That's kind of what I'm going for. Exactly. I don't want to, It's obviously dope having inspirations and stuff and like taking inspiration from certain artists
100%.
and instrumentals and stuff, but when you make something that's like new, it's hard to do that now, right? Because you think like everything's been fucking create it. It's so hard to make something new because it's already been done before. So when you do something that's kind of new and nobody's really heard that, or like combine certain things to make something totally different, it's really cool.
Even if it's like one little factor, I feel like 100%. People will hook onto it, even if it's new. Like if you look at Ice Spice
and Yeet, bro.
Yeah, like Ice Spice sounds exactly like Pop Smoke. I'm gonna be honest. If you hear it, like same melodies, same flow. But like it's just a girl doing it, so it's like kind of something new.
It's like that gritty kind of thing.
Kind
of thing.
She and her influences a lot. Damn, she and her move.
Craziness stuff.
Hell yeah.
So Disney influenced you a lot with like Victorious and like a bunch of different like shows and stuff like that. I said. So Evan, what about you? Would you grow up on that influence you, like show wise, movie wise?
Like probably like similar stuff. Movies was a lot of like documentaries, like music, like Pink Floyd's.
Hell yeah.
Whatever that one was. I remember watching that. Like stuff like that would just like kind of open up my perception, like music, like to different genres.
I was late to that game. Like I just started watching musical documentaries now that I've been a bit older. So that's dope that you got to do that at a young age.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I only started watching that stuff like mid high school or anything after that.
No, I was really big into like Alvin and the Chipmunks back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Those movies always stuck out though. At least for me, cause I love those movies because they show a little bit of like the industry, but it's nowhere close to the documentaries.
Well, as a kid, it lets you like imagine what it would be.
Me and my homies hate Dave or not Dave, Ian.
Yeah.
Me and my homies hate Ian.
We all hate
Shout out Dave. Dave's a G.
Is he in the guy who like the human?
Ian's the producer that like screwed him over and like kidnapped him.
He's like the scummy guy.
Yeah, who like stole all their money. Dad?
Yeah.
Right?
He's their dad.
Yeah, they call him dad after a while.
Yeah, that's so jokes.
Yeah.
That's so just music documentaries. You guys ever watch the Defiant ones? That is, I highly recommend that one. It's literally all about Jimmy Iovine and not all about Jimmy Iovine, but it's all about Interscope and Death Row how Jimmy Iovine was influenced and how he worked with like Bruce Springsteen to like all these like older producers and artists to like Snoop Dogg and M and Tupac and Lady Gaga and how like Lady Gaga introduced like beats into like into the game. Well, Dr. Dre kept trying to like do shoes or something, and then Jimmy Iovine walked into him and he's like, "Yo, why don't we just sell fucking speakers and headphones?" And then beats became a thing and all that stuff. Like, yo, the Defiant ones is crazy. If you want some kind of like motivation or anything, like that's one of those shows too. Even like the soundtrack, like the sound engineering behind that, like you could tell it's produced by people that know what they're doing because it's basically just like a documentary kind of thing with like all like real facts accounted for and stuff like that. So
that sounds dope.
Yeah, and like I never seen the Pink Floyd one or anything like that you're talking about, but I think you're saying something about the Travis Scott one. I think it's called "Look Mike Fly."
Look Mike Fly. I watched that 30 times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I watched it last week. For like the 30th time. Yeah. I love that documentary.
That's sick.
But that's not like a big thing that people do anymore. I feel like they used to do that a lot more. Like if I search up like videos of like Pharrell Williams in the studio or like doing like a little documentary thing, they used to do that. Nowadays people are like kind of secretive.
Because everything's on social media now, right? So it's hard to everything they record gets posted, so it's already seen before. So a documentary just kind of be like a compilation of stuff that people have already seen, right? Whereas when you're filming, like you set to film a documentary, right, and it shows the rise and the come up and everything, it's also hard to put money into that if you don't know this artist is going to blow or not. I mean, sometimes they start when they're like, and there's footage of these rappers before they have like anything out, right? And it's like, how do you know to record that if you haven't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
Look at Kanye West. He started filming a documentary since like before Graduation dropped out, I'm pretty sure. And he still hasn't released it, but he has all that footage and all that stuff.
That's sick.
Genius or something. Genius. Yeah. It's like he has on Netflix. So I haven't watched it, but.
Oh, I've seen that. I haven't watched it.
It's like a five episode.
Oh, it's an episode thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I've never watched it. So.
Yeah. I think I watched like a couple episodes of it.
I should though.
It's pretty good. It's like crazy because it shows like how he like manifested his career like so like early on.
He's a whole different
manifesting. Yeah.
Kanye's
like
a whole
everything
different.
bro said just like I know, just happened.
Yeah. Bro, the man literally went from making music to, like, he literally has farms filled with sheep, and that's like clothing. Like, if you like, he literally like evolved, and everybody like says all this and that and stuff, but like,
he's an evil genius.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, literally like he's literally like a movie villain, bro. Like, it's crazy.
I like some of my favorite songs from him is Real Friends. Like, that's a sick one. And like, I think we were talking about Mike Dean the other day and like the synth thing. And I don't know if it's true. My boy told me like when like Kanye and him were in a stadium and he literally like locked them both inside the stadium because he just wanted to see how it sounded. And then Mike Dean was like cheesing over a bit or something. He's like, I want to go home.
That's how they made Donda. He locked them in a room and rewrote the entire album and live streamed the whole thing. And it was like, because he said, like, it's done, and then he went to the listening party, he did a listening party, and he's like, I'm scrapping half these songs that I just showed to the world, and I'm going to remake the entire album in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, but a big part of that was the Drake beef, because they were trying to drop it at the same time. No,
here we go.
Whoever dropped it first would have less sales than the other person. That's kind of just how it, or like, people think about it, I guess.
Okay.
So they were just trying to drop last.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be like the number one spot, get like the top 100s.
Yeah, because they get taken away by the other person. But because
Kanye was like had rumors of dropping an album when Drake was gonna drop his album. So then people say, oh, that's why he pushed his back forward.
But Drake still streamed him.
Yeah, he did. But there's still like there's still like little games within the game that you kind of have to like be cautious about.
Oh man, it's a business.
But yo, the resources and like just the thought of like, you know, we have like our like KRK speaker. Oh, like this KRK. Like we got like speakers like that at home. We could like listen to our own music and see like what sounds good and all this stuff. But imagine like having a stadium to just be like, let's see how it actually sounds like for real kind of thing.
That'd be crazy.
But like you make do with what you got. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure
totally.
Like it sounds gritty and even like Wu-Tang documentary. If you guys ever watch that, that's a sick one. Wu-Tang: The American Saga.
Oh, yeah.
It's like. Literally, like, I think Dave East, if I'm wrong, I don't know if I'm wrong, but he plays Method Man or something.
Yeah.
But, like, it's literally just, like, from the beginning to the end, like, how Wu-Tang came up and the struggles they had with it. And, like, them just watching old Chinese kung fu movies and how they use that in samples and shit. And these guys literally had an apartment where they set a studio in the bathtub. Like, an actual microphone in the bathtub and shit. And they wanted it to sound gritty as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, the microphone wasn't, like, you're alone in here, and then everybody else is outside. It's like you're here, and then all your boys are right over here. And it's like the raw sound. It just sounds the way it
crazy.
Sounds.
Yeah, we gotta try that.
Well, resources.
Be fucking gritty. Fuck it.
The thing with resources is crazy because like you could make like high end shit in like a little room, like it, you know what I mean, or 100%. with just like a mic and a computer. I think we were talking about this last week. Like you can do anything with just a computer and a mic, right?
100%.
But like the advantage of being, you know, on a certain level, like I'll use John Bellion for example. I don't know if you guys know who John Bellion is.
Yeah,
I've been showing these guys hella John Bellion. He's super inspiring artist to me. Guillotine. Yeah, super dope. Guillotine. But he was in the studio and he just went to this guy and he's like, how quick can we get 2 violinists and a cellist in here? And they're like, give me 40 minutes. And they brought him in. So he has access to, like, he wanted violin on his song. Okay, get violinists in here. Because he's at that level where he can just, like, snap his fingers and get something there.
That is
crazy. So having that luxury is also, like, super dope once you're at that level, and it kind of boosts you that much more. But I still think you can do all the same things with just a mic and a computer.
It's the energy behind it. Because like in those situations, your energy's gonna be more hyped up because you're like, oh yeah,
it's
I got violinists and all that stuff.
And there's a touch that's different live and electronic. There is totally different, but you can emulate like really closely. Electronically. So
that's crazy.
You just gotta have fun with it.
Right. Speaking of creating, how about we play that track of yours?
I would love to play that track. Let's play that.
All right. Would you like to introduce the track for the world real quick?
Yeah. I mean, it has like a tiny little story in it. I'm gonna just quickly run through it. But I have this friend. I've known her since I was like 2 years old. Her name's Mila. I was just talking to shout out Mila. Good homie of mine. And we were just talking one day, and I was kind of like, this is probably almost a year ago now, like, or it was like way early this year. And, you know, we'd always talk about my music and stuff. And she'd always say, like, I want to be on a track, you know, and we'd kind of like joke about it, whatever. But then one day I was like, all right, just like, let's do it. Let's run it. Let's get you on. Because she's always like, she sang, but not professionally at all. She just like, whatever for fun. And I was like, wow, like that's really cool. And I kind of wanted to expand it with different voices and stuff. So I was like, get in here, I'll make a little R&B track, see what we can do. She had never recorded before, never sang like live before, never done anything similar. Crazy. And it was just like, it was really smooth. And like, obviously like, and the song was really quick. Like we made the song in like 3 hours, 4 hours.
That's crazy.
Right? And it was super quick, but I mean, it was super dope that she just kind of like, it was her first time ever. So, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy. And we've been talking about releasing it for a while, so it's unreleased right now.
Sick.
So yeah, we're just trying to show people the song, see what they think.
Fire.
Hell yeah.
All right. Here it is right here on Proetiq Radio. The track is called Cardiac.
Yes, sir.
Yes, by A1 and
Mila.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Cardiac, baby.
Yes, y'all. That's Cardiac by A1 and Mila.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Shout out Mila.
That's fire. That's crazy. That was the first time she ever recorded.
Oh, yeah.
As well, too.
It was super wild.
Damn, bro. Like, that's crazy, man. That's good quality music right there, boy.
Hell yeah. It was super fun to make it, too. Yeah. Like, it was just, the vibe was incredible.
Yeah. No, that's wild. So did you guys produce the beat as well, too? Or
yeah, I got it from actually a homie as well.
Okay, that's fire.
Some guy I met through Instagram, which was super
crazy.
Dope.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we were just in my room. My other homie Jonah was there. Mm-hmm. Shout out Jonah as well. And we just, like, she just pulled up. Mm-hmm. And it was just natural. Like, it just happened. It went by so fast, right?
That's crazy.
We look at it, it was dark outside. We're like, oh, shit.
Time just flew by.
Yeah, damn. Sick. But it just, everything came super naturally with the song. And it wasn't really a forced writing. And like I said before, I don't really write stuff.
Yeah. I just sort of. Yeah.
So, and I kind of, like, helped write, like, her part as well. Because she had never, like,
okay.
written anything before. So, but I mean, she contributed, like, pretty much the entire, like, her verse was pretty much her. Like, it was all her, right?
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it was super dope, and we had a lot of fun with it, and I'm hoping to do something with it soon, but, you know, we're working on it still.
That's sick, bro. Yeah. That is fire.
Hell yeah.
That's a sick track, sick record.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and just the writing process of it sounds pretty fucking natural and all that stuff, too.
Yeah.
Like, That's really sick. And I see you have like the timestamp on it too, 2023, 10, 20, 12, 49 p.m.
Yeah. I don't know if that might have just been the way.
Oh, just random?
Yeah. Writing the time down, the seconds down.
It's like, gotta know this is history, right?
Yeah.
That's fire, bro. Yeah. That is fire. Anything else that any of you guys are like working on right now? Like that, like you know, maybe doesn't have a release date or anything, but you kind of like have something cooking that you're like close to being like, yo, this is like almost like there kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I got a 3-song EP that I'm hoping to drop soon.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much about it.
All right.
But you know, it was literally like such a random idea. I made like a couple songs, and I was like, and they all kind of fit the same like vibe category, like topic that I was talking about in those songs. Yeah. And I was like, damn, and they all fit the same vibe. You three have all heard all of them. The Drugs EP, so you know it talks about some issues and stuff like that.